giving it to Bard's kids is a thing I like to do a lot of the time.
You should never say that sentence.
Yeah.
Precious.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. So today we are going to be doing a top 5 list. So it's going to be of all of our top 5 favorite heroes currently in the game. So we've all put together a top 5 list. Now, we haven't kind of based that around one specific thing. We all have, various reasons why those heroes have made our lists. So we're going to go into exactly why that is. So starting off at number 5, we are going to go to Ashley. Ash, who is your 5th favorite hero?
So my 5th favorite hero, probably in surprise to very few people, is Kardash the Firecaller.
You saw that?
Shock!
Out of left field there.
Shock horror.
Only 5th.
Only 5th, yeah. I think he definitely makes the top 5 cut. He's such a. My definition of favorite has been the heroes I use the most and have the most fun with. So not necessarily the most competitive, but the ones I have the most fun with.
Have you, just to ask a question then, have you chosen all of your top 5 with that same thing in mind, or do you have other heroes who are in the list for other reasons, or is that the same?
It's well, I think my definition of fun is also winning. So the competitive nature of these heroes also adds into the ranking, but I've ranked them top 5. So Kardash number 5.
Yeah.
Basically, he synergizes well with the lists I always take. His flame burst ability on a 3+ always catches people out. It's a horse killer. It's a hero killer. Killing trackers to be able to do this 3+6 strength 6 spell on mounts and on the riders is fantastic. I think my favorite play with Kardash is I flame burst Elendil from his horse with 1 dice on a 6, and he only had his 2 fortified spirit resist rolls. Whiffed it, and his horse was dead turn 1. It was an excellent play. For 60 points, he brings so much to the list. He also allows you to buff your Witch King late game to keep him going when you need to get good spells off. He's just a crap.
I have seen you whiff the flame burst roll though, like 4 times in a row though against me. So
and that's why he's down at number 5, because when the spells don't go off, it is very sad. It's very sad. Again, as it's a resistible spell, casting on a 3+, you tend to try and do 1 if you're trying to be cheeky, kill a rider, like a non-hero, or if you're trying to kill a hero, you spend 2, and then you have to kill a tracker next turn. So yeah. Number 5, solid choice, basically for the cheeky magic plays. And in my opinion, magic is the most fun aspect of the game. So there he is.
Yeah. Any comments on Kardash as a pick, gents, at number 5?
Yeah. The fact he can always regenerate his will, I think that's really, really good. Yeah. In comparison to other shamans, yeah, he's 60
points,
way better.
And he not only can get his own will back, but then he can, buff the Witch King or any Wraith, but yeah, the Witch King in your case most of the time, late game and stuff.
So one final point then, as Vince just hinted to with his regenerative ability, you take trackers which are 5 points. So, and if you sacrifice an Orc model, you get D3 will back for Kardash. So if you're sacrificing a tracker, you are only ever increasing your points value if we go by the metric of 1 will is 5 points.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you roll a 5 or a 6, you've made 10 points on each tracker that you're sacrificing.
It's the Emperor Legion.
You're gaining points. What more could we want?
Indeed.
Yeah, totally doesn't surprise me from you.
Sam, have you made a list of which heroes you think Ash is going to pick in what order?
I totally haven't, but
it's in your head.
Don't spoil it for everyone. Come on. Not everyone gets the pleasure of playing me in Mum's house every other fucking week. So
yeah, Kardash,
you're welcome.
He's great for his points, and like Ash said, he always makes his points back, regardless if you're killing the horses, regardless if you're trying to de-horse heroes. he's just really good. He's solid all around. So yeah.
I imagine Kardouche may feature if we do a top 5 like heroes, you know, that are good for their points list.
Top 5 most point effective heroes. I think he'd be right up there. 60 points is a bargain.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Ash's number 5. Next on the screen is Vince. Who do you have?
Yep. So I've gone with the King's Champion in Khazad-dûm.
I saw that profile earlier and I was like, I do love a King's Champion.
Yeah, he's awesome. So the fact that he brings along 2 banners, each with 2 fate, and if he's in base contact with both of them, he goes up to D9. Yeah, he's just a really interesting hero. You can use him in like multiple ways. You can either split up and make sure the banner coverage is good, or you can make him an absolute tank. Yeah, if you go for that option, he just doesn't die, does he? And the fact you can use the shield, what they're called, the
Herald's Fate.
heralds. Yeah, you can use the herald's fate as on him.
Effectively getting 5 fate.
Yeah, 3 attacks, fight 5. No, fight 6.
Fight 6. Yeah, he has strike.
Yes, he's only got 2 might, but you can't really complain given his points cost. If you work it out, he's very cheap. Yeah, strength 5. Yeah, if you work it out, he's an absolute bargain.
With axes, which means he can piercing strike at D9 to go down to at worst D6. Like you got a strength 6 hero with 3 attacks.
Yeah, and as I said, there's lots of different ways to use him. So he's not like just a straightforward just killing machine. There are multiple ways to use him, like with the heralds, and he's just a cool hero. Yeah,
I like it.
I like the pick. Any comments?
So just having a look at the profile, the heralds count as independent heroes with a will point at courage 4. So even if the King's Champion is tagged, they can still stand fast with their courage 4 and a will point, which is really, really, really good. And if you take away the cost of 2 banners, you'd think 50 points. That makes him effectively 90 points for what you're getting as a fight 6 3 attack hero.
One way that they could like maybe, I don't know, I think there are maybe other profiles which aren't as good as this one, but have had this kind of treatment where they might only have 2 attacks. So it's like, oh, you get all this utility with the 2 banners and your high defense and everything, but we're not going to make you that killy. Like, yeah, we'll give you strength 5 like Goroth, but we'll make you 2 attacks. But the fact he gets the 3 attacks at strength 5 where you can pierce, he's got it just makes his killing potential that much higher compared to other on-foot heroes.
He's just great for his points. He's great for his points. He gives you banners. They can split up, as well as the strength 5 piercing at fight 6 is so good for his points essentially.
And if you need to keep him alive in Fog of War, he's never dying at D9 with 5 fate. Effectively, if you spend it all on him,
they do count as heroes then in like assassination and
independent heroes. Yeah,
they do. So that is a weakness of it. But specifically, you choose to keep a hero alive in Fog.
But like
you keep him alive.
I mean, compared to other heroes, they're still D7 2 fate. Like,
they're still
much weaker choices out there. So
yeah, it could be worse for you.
Still looking good, really. Yeah, with a will as well. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid pick. Okay, so number 5, Sam, you're next.
Yes, so I have gone for the Hardish King.
Who'd have thought?
Primarily on Chariot, mainly because it's a model that changes the way people play, and against some armies, it's like running through gold dust when you're fighting D4 and you're just absolutely mowing people down. It is so much fun.
Is that a classic phrase? Running through gold dust.
It's like finding gold dust like on the floor. Like imagine there's like Super Mario coins and like you're just going through these Super Mario coins.
Yeah. Nice.
It feels like.
It's like when you played against my Hunter Orcs in Pompey.
Yeah, I played your Hunter Orcs. I played Ollie's Hunter Orcs, and I tabled him. No, I broke him in one turn from 3 chariots, and like it's just so much fun.
I think we need to bring up the fact that the Carnish King needs justice. Having the most banners out of any model and still not actually being a banner.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, him being a 6-inch banner full card for 125 points, you're paying for fight 5, strength 4. He has a two-handed. He's got a hand and a half axe, so he can pierce and strike to strength 5, two-hand to actually strength 7 if he's that much of a Chad. 3 attack base. He has a monstrous charge with his chariot, so it's basically 4 attacks on the charge, 5 with a banner. The chariots are with the defensive bulwark is actually really good for staying alive. Like bear in mind he's only 2 wounds, 1 fate. For a hit for your leader,
yeah,
the chariot does make a big difference. And he's a bit susceptible to magic, but I mean that's all chariots. But you usually play this guy at low points, so when you don't come against magic too often, he's just really, really fun to play. And like I said, it just changes the way you have to play against it. And I like that. I like making people think from game to game of, oh, I can't just stand in the open with these and just get absolutely mowed down. I've got to play around terrain now. I have to sit in a forest, which I didn't originally plan to do, but now I have to. Like, I like that kind of aspect of the game. So yeah, he's my number 5.
Could we be seeing him bought out and upcoming GBHL?
Potentially could. There's just so much good stuff at the moment, isn't there? Armies wise, so he's fallen a little bit to the wayside for me. But you never know. I do definitely want to bring him out. So yeah,
I like it. Ash,
have you got a favorite specific Carnage King moment that elevates him to your top 5 favorite hero models?
I played against Eagles, and I had a normal chariot guy run into an eagle, did 1 wound, and then my king ran into the eagle and rolled 2 6s, and I outright killed the eagle with just tramples, and it was so funny. And I was just thinking, I've just killed a 100-point model for free. Like I did no work. I just moved in a straight line.
OP.
A move like that completely justifies fun top 5 character. You love to see it.
He is compared, like you can ally him with Easterlings, and like he's a little bit of it's kind of Hammer and Anvil-esque. But he's just really fun. He's just a fun model. So
yeah. Nice. Okay, so that's your number 5. So it's my number 5 next, and my number 5 pick is Grimbold. So I love Grimbold. So I think I like Grimbold. So
I love that choice.
Fight 5, but the context that I have chosen him in is using him in like a Rohan Loth list. So the fact that you can get him up to fight 6, he's only strength 4, which is okay, but he's got a 2-handed weapon and has an axe, so he can pierce to strength 5, +1 to wounds. If you get him to win a fight against like a transfixed hero or something, and you have that hero trapped, they're probably going to die because it's got mighty blow. So also the special rule of getting the Helmingus, getting a natural strength 4 for the Rohan. I think that's a nice little addition. I think it'd still be a decent profile without that. He's a cheap 3 might hero. Maybe if he doesn't have a 2-handed axe, so he isn't always -1 without the Helmingus upgrade, I think that'd still be a decent profile. But Ash, what you just said about has Sam got a moment that happened with the king to propel him to top 5? I definitely have a moment which put Grimbold to the top 5 spot.
You love to hear it.
It was at the event. I actually met everyone on this call at. It was the very last dice roll of the event. So it was
in Norwich.
It was game 6 in Norwich.
Yes.
Against the TO. It was Rohan Loth against the South League.
Against the TO.
Wait, who?
What's that?
Who was it?
It was against Reese.
Oh, Reese. Okay.
Yeah. So it was against his Grand Army of the South. It was the last dice roll. It was Grimbold in a 1v1 against the Mummock.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Had the scream.
It had 5 wounds left, but he actually knocked off a wound himself because he tried to shoot down and he knocked a wound off his own Mummock. So it had 4 wounds left, which is obviously the maximum amount of wounds that Grimbold can do. Wins the fight, and then it's like a double 6 to wound and kills the Mummock, which wins the game.
Nice.
Wins me the game.
Because of the mighty blow.
No, we drew actually. Yeah, we drew.
Oh.
But that got me 3rd place on that 1 dice roll.
Vince, who won that event?
Yeah, I remember someone rolling just loads of sixes in a
Oh,
row.
did you guys play last game?
Some absolute Chad may be coming up next place. You never know. You
Did
never
you
know.
guys play last round at Norwich then?
We did.
Oh,
We did.
Yeah.
It was one of the luckiest moments I've ever had. And
really?
it won me the event, and poor old Vince just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear. But yeah, so that was the moment. You know, with Grimbold, I really like the profile. I think it's really solid in Rohan Loth. You know, with a compel behind it and fight 6, I think it's really strong. And I have a lot of fun using him.
Solid.
Love it.
Of a top 5. Yeah. Okay. So that's everyone's top 5. So Ash, who do you have at number 4?
The foreshadowing. So number 4 is Suladan. And
Quite low down on your list.
he is low down. He is low down. I think my justification for that is he's a really, really, really strong model. And I enjoy using him. But he is more of a buff piece. So his fun potential is more in the fact that he just boosts your whole army. He's obviously Saladin, 115 point, 6-inch banner that actually counts as a banner. Strike, 3 might, 3 will. He's only got 1 fate and is D5, but he's also got an armored horse. So you can keep him safe. Combines really well with the Witch King, compelling things out, charging in. But coming in at number 4, as he is not, his fun potential is more in the fact that you just sort of have him and he's good for the rest of your army.
The fun potential is that he's sort of OP.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I think he's lemon tier hero for when we start doing hero tiers later on. But I alluded to it earlier. Me and Vince were playing game 6 of Norwich. Again, the place where we first met. Young Elliot here and young Vince over there. And Vince had eagles, and I charged an eagle. I don't believe it was trapped, was it, Vince?
No, it was trapped. It was trapped.
Oh, sorry. This one was Guahir.
It was Guahir, yeah.
Guahir was trapped. So Saladin was off his horse at this point after being panic steeded by Radagast.
Yeah, it was off his horse. I think you got a few other randoms in, but because you had Kardush, who you mentioned at number 5, with the Fury up, you managed to get a lot of Moranims in, I think, with Suladan. You won the fight, and I think Guahir was on full wounds and full fate at this point. I think he rolled like
I don't think he was trapped because I had 3 dice of Saladin and rolled the 666.
Yeah, you're right. He may not have been trapped yet.
But this was the mega moment. Saladin rolled 3 dice, won the fight, 666 Guahir, and then that was it. Vince's leader was gone before battle had even commenced. And that's why he is at number 4.
I like it. Strong hero.
Any comments, Sam?
Nah, classic Ash will win this. Doesn't doubt it. I'm not doubting that pick at all.
Not changing the script much, are you, Ash? No.
Well, what's the point in lying? What's the point in lying? You know?
No,
I invented it, so I've got to stick to it.
You are the author. Love it.
What is that noise?
It's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I totally didn't know that was the origin.
Yeah.
Me and James were just doing it in our game in Worcester, like constantly.
Okay. Yeah, James was just laughing at you because you didn't know what it was.
We had such a trolly game. It was so funny. Okay, so
slip one in.
You're up next, number 4.
At number 4, I've got Aomir. So
Riders.
Yeah, from Rohan, Aomir. You know him, right? Pretty iconic.
You know who he is, Ash.
No, I was.
You're talking about Riders of Aomir, the Legion.
Oh, right.
There's a guy. There's a guy.
So I've picked him because of his 3 fate, 3 wounds, his D7. I think he's a very tanky Rohan hero. And I don't really see him taken that often with Rohan for some reason. I think people prefer like the cheaper options that probably like Dernhelm and Daewine. They see them as a bit more kind of value, say, but I think Aomir is brilliant. Even for his points, he's very, very tanky. It's the 3 Fate Horse Lord, I think, is very useful. Being able to keep him on his horse, still strength 5 on the charge. And yeah, times I've used him, he's always been really, really reliable.
Yeah.
Solid pick.
I've never used AMS, so
and you play Rohan, so yeah, that's. Is there a reason why you don't take him?
Yeah, you usually don't just really see him around that much.
Yeah.
It's just the better options or
He falls down. He falls down in the pecking order, I think.
He's just a bit more expensive, but I think there are games where you really, really want that kind of reliable, survivable hero.
Yeah. He's got like the best profile out of all like the Rohan heroes, but he's the most expensive. So it's like, can you get return out of the ones that are cheaper but still have really good profiles?
But then there must have been times when you've used a budget hero with only 2 attacks, gone in and fluffed a little bit. Aemir with that extra attack, you can kind of depend on him to not fluff as often in an important spot.
Yeah.
And even if he does, you can count on him not just dying in one go as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Any comments on Aemir?
No, a bit of a rogue one, but I like it. I mean, I don't see Aemir too often, and I think that you've explained the reasons. He's just people just prefer other models essentially. I guess.
There are other picks.
Ally in or when they run Rohan, so yeah.
Yeah, I used him in a doubles event with Adam, and he worked really well with Boromir, just to have like another, like a very, very solid survivable hero as a leader. I think he's really good as a leader because you can send him in and feel pretty safe that he's just not going to go down too easily.
Yeah,
and as I said, with the Horse Lord, he can just keep going. You can spend the fate on the Horse Lord, keep the horse alive, the armored horse. Yeah. And he can chew through stuff.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so that's been to number 4. Sam, over to you.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of a rogue one for me. So my 4th pick is actually Musgur. And I've chosen Musgur.
Pick though, I do like the pick. I do like that model.
So to me, he, out of the new additions or just models added to the game, he is so versatile. All the lists that he's actually good in. So if you take double transfix, triple transfix with a Wraith, he's really good in that list. For only 70 points, for having a Fight 4 caster that has okay to like mediocre to like good casting, he's just really annoying. And like the fact he's useful the whole way throughout the game through the regaining will by killing models, and like him being 2 attacks in the front line, or you can also spear support if you really don't want him to get tagged off in a heroic move so you can't cast. I just think he's really versatile, and I've used him personally in Assault on Lothlorien, and he is just like the re-rolling casting in Assault obviously really helps him. So you can kind of reliably 1 dice transfixes, or even if they don't have someone that is worthy of a transfix at that current moment, just throwing a 1 dice wither onto one of their heroes to make them strength 3 or something. He just has really annoying spells that you feel like you want to resist, but then there's other conjoined with other casters, it becomes harder to. And I think for 70 points, he's just so good for what you get, like built into the army that you take him with. The fact he's got defense as well is really nice.
It's a shame he doesn't have March. If he had March, he would be so good.
If he had March,
it's as if you're talking about the Mouth of Sauron, who just is better for
he's
same
totally
points.
No,
I think he is.
I doubt
they
that.
Fill different roles. I see the similarities, but they do fill different roles.
The Mouth has better casting roles. The only difference is he can't regain will points back.
He cast transfix on a 3+ instead of a 4.
On a 3.
He doesn't have Wither.
That's quite a big difference. I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
Wither's okay, but it's not.
Wither's like for
Wither is
example, I
really
played
good.
Ali the other week in order shot against his Moranans. He just withered me down to strength 3, and then I just didn't kill them. So I just sat there and couldn't kill anything.
I think I would
It's
agree with
pretty
your
good.
take specifically in Assault on Loth, but I don't think he's that good in. He's good in combination with the mouth and the Witch King, but I think
Even
you take
just
the
with the
mouth
Wraith.
before him.
No, even just with the Wraith. As soon as you get that the double transfix, and like you can comfortably put him,
Yeah, but
split.
you do the double transfix even more effectively with the mouth.
Yeah, but it's constant pressure through casting. As soon as you spend your will with the mouth, he's just the hero that goes in, and
Like
even
the mouth,
six.
yeah. Once you use the will, then the mouth can kill in combat and stuff. So like that's what I mean when I say that they have other roles. But then once you use Musger's will, you're going to get him into combat as well to try and get some will back.
And get back, and it's just constant.
And it's like
always
late
pressure
game,
on the enemy heroes.
Late game,
No.
you can still get will back
You-
late game.
You clearly haven't used him, Ash, because
But you have only used him in Assault on Loth, haven't you? Which makes
Yeah.
him way better because he gets the reroll. So that's fair enough.
I've
that
played
was my point to start with.
But then I don't have a Wraith. That is also casting transfix. I have a Shaman that's casting transfix on a 5+.
Yeah.
But I don't have the reliable casting of a Witch King, for example, or a Shadow Lord. That is really good.
Yeah, but the mouth just does that job just better though. Because
But it
you don't
doesn't.
need to transfix for more than 4 turns.
Yeah, but you can still whiff with the mouth on,
Yeah, you can whiff on a
one or two
yeah,
turns.
you can whiff on a 3+.
Yeah.
But the Musgur only casting on a 4+ means he's whiffing half the time unless you chuck 2 dice at it.
Yeah, but chucking 2 dice and getting a kill.
Yeah, but he doesn't also necessarily get kills though.
strength 4. He doesn't always.
2 attack strength 4.
Mm.
And you put
Yeah, if you get him in
I've-
the front line, which then allows him to get tagged next turn.
Yeah,
I
I've
just
played
don't think
against-
he's a good. I don't think he's really that good of a pick. And I mean, I guess you could say he's your favorite, but again, I disagree because you've only used him in AOL.
Yeah,
I've played against Musger a few times outside of the Legion.
He is really good.
He can quite reliably get if you put him even up against like D6 troops, 2 attacks of strength 4. Like it's quite likely that he kills usually, and he wins fights.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not likely that he kills, but then he's also in the front line, susceptible to a heroic move off, so then he just can't cast next
I guess
turn
you
anyway.
do that at the end once you've used his other will, so then you don't have anything to lose if he is tagged. He's 15 points cheaper than the mouth. Yes, you don't get.
He's the same points as the mouth, but then the 15 points extra come when you give the mouth an armored horse, which then makes
you
him
would give
move
him,
10.
which
and
does
then-
make him a lot better.
He's better
Yeah.
on foot. Like his 70-point his 70-point profile is better than the mouth's 70-point profile, as he fills a different role. You can't say that the mouth's better because they don't do the same job.
They don't necessarily do exactly the same job,
I
but
get
the
the
mouth
comparison,
does. His
yeah.
They're pretty similar. They're pretty similar points, except
Yeah.
the mouth can get 15-point armored horse upgrade, which just makes him, in my opinion, way better.
There's also a couple other things as well. So the mouth has March. Which I was
the
just
mouth has
saying,
March.
very nice
The only
advantage.
Musga has defense, but then again, if Musga's defensing, he's in combat, which is not where you want him to be. So it's like,
And then you're not using the might for moves or whatever else with Musger.
yeah,
You're only using it to defend.
I
But
just
then,
think it's not a great pick.
Musker's performed in a lot of lists that have won tournaments. So
yeah,
But then why is he your favorite
I think he is pretty
because
good.
when I've used him, he's been unbelievable.
in AOL? Which is said is fair enough.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable in AOL, but then even in non-AOL lists, he's performed really well.
It's just like he likes the profile.
Yeah,
and
the profile's really
the way
good.
it
He
works.
fills a role in Mordor that is really versatile.
Yeah,
And he performs well in tournaments and wins events with it as well. So
That's fair
Yeah,
enough.
Ash is
the double
tweaking.
and triple the double and triple transfix is that becoming quite popular? I don't know. I see it
Big
coming
lemon.
creeping up.
Mm. Well, Farmer won the Masters with 2 Wraiths. Did he have a third transfix in there? No.
no trouble.
Just switching
I
channels.
think I've seen a list somewhere with 3 transfixes.
Did
I think
Clubly win the finale with triple transfix?
he either podiumed
yeah, he
or
came-
won,
He won it.
and
didn't
he had
He won it.
Musgur.
He won it.
He had Musgur, Mouth, Shadow
Shadow
Lord,
Lord. Yeah.
Shagrat.
He just fills a role
Interesting.
that's not what the mouth does, and he just complements stuff in Mordor really well.
Mm.
I think the mouth
think both are really
complements better, but that's
the
fair
mouth
enough.
as well is a hero of valor as well, which at low points holds a lot of value.
Yeah, I just think he does the basically the same role with more versatile options, just better.
Wrong.
Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree, fellas.
Yeah,
And move on. Whose pick was that? That was Sam's pick. Oh, so is it my pick?
it is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. My second pick is the Necromancer. So,
Super scary.
So when I've used the Necromancer, yeah, I really enjoy using him.
That's Man United right there, brother.
I like the Necromancer. I like him. I look at the profile and yeah, he's got one attack, whatever, but like it's arguably the best raw caster in the game. Such low casting, stats. The fact it's got like the Morgul Blade thing as well, like the Drain Soul. That's really cool if you do get him like into combat. In the Legion, I think he gets like 2 attacks. So if you're running that, that's quite fun. The Chill Soul as well, the fact it's not like a black dart and it's just like an auto wound. I think that's really fun, like when I use it. He's fight, I have the profile up here. He's fight 7, strength 6, D8. So like you're not worried about him really like, dying with those stats, but he's also got the 25 will, which he's using to cast. He gets the reroll as well. So you can kind of chuck 2 of the will and a 3 into like a 5+ Chill Soul, and it's probably going to go off. Does he get a reroll as well? No, I think he just gets 1 free dice for every cast. But the fact that you can like with the 25 will and you can use it as fate, you can like put him in front of like a Mummock and just like have it sit there and do nothing. Like I should have done that. I played against Aaron Pullen at Imps last year and I totally should have done that, but instead I let his Mummock run through my bulk and all my army, so that was quite stupid. But like, but after the game,
I love
I
that
was like,
reaction to that.
I've never heard a more Elliot play. Oh, I could have put my.
I didn't let him do that, but I just.
However,
I think we found our intro clip to Sam's laughter there.
Why the fuck would you let him do that? You idiot.
Well, I didn't let him do it, but like I should have just put the Necromancer at the front.
That's so funny.
So now I see the potential in the project.
Elliot, every single week you come up with another horrific play that you've done. It's just
Anyway.
never ending.
It's in
Amazing.
the past. It's in the past. We
We move on.
We do.
We live and learn.
But yeah, I really like the profile. Yeah, I think it's like I just wish it was like able to be used a little bit more. Like I don't know, I've seen some lists online which people in like Australia and stuff have like won events with like the really cheap Azog's Hunters heroes and then like loads of Felwargs and stuff. So I've seen some lists where they've won like events and done well, but just not over here really. Ash,
Do you think you'd take him potentially? Are you coming to Unnumbered Tiers with us?
I am.
Do you think he could be ran at 1,000 points?
No, I'm gonna try see if I can make Mordor Eastlings work. I took Mordor Eastlings last year and it didn't go well. That was a pretty cursed weekend in general after what happened.
Okay, why not? Why not the
yeah,
Necromancer?
Mordor Eastlings. I don't know, maybe it's just so many points. I haven't looked at how it scales at 1,000, but
Okay.
It could be something in the cards. Yeah, but ideally Mordor Eastlings with Witch King or Fellbeast.
Stay tuned to find out what Elliot
Indeed.
does.
So yeah, have any of you guys ever even used the Necromancer before? Do you guys
Faced
know?
against him.
Yeah, played in.
Yeah, played against it. Yeah,
He's just really expensive, and
it is.
Yeah.
the question is whether you get enough out of him.
Yeah,
That's all.
for the points.
I can totally, however, see why he is in your top favorite because even when I played against him, the guy that was using him, he cast 2 spells, right?
No, that's only in the Legion.
Only in the
Oh, okay. So the guy I was playing had him in the Legion because he was chucking 2 spells a turn, bombing around, terrorizing me, and he was just having a great time. So
18-inch.
Yeah, it's a fun
Harbinger as
model.
well.
Yeah,
18-inch
Exactly.
Harbinger. Good
I
fun.
can see.
Yeah, I think it's a cool model as well. I like it.
The Legion makes him a lot better, but like his for just 250 base in Azog's Hunters, but in the Dark Powers,
Yeah,
like you can just do nearly everything with a Witch King.
yeah. I guess it's like whether at 1,000 points could I get in the Necromancer enough of the low point cost heroes with enough troops to have still like a high model count plus the Necromancer. I don't know.
Yasnig, Fimble, Narzug.
Yeah, Narzug, Necromancer.
Mercs.
Yeah.
There you go. That would be it'd be like 60 models, maybe.
Maybe there is I will have to look at some lists. But yeah, that's my number 4. So Ash, moving on to your number 3 pick.
We're gonna get another laugh from Sam here. So we had the Saladin with the 6-inch banner. What is better than a Saladin with a 6-inch banner? That's right, a Boromir with a 6-inch banner.
Oh!
So we have
Out of
progressed
left field.
to a Boromir coming in at 3rd place.
Which
So-
flavour of Boromir, though?
Of course, it has to be Boromir, captain of the White Tower.
Say less.
So, and despite what anyone ever says, taking him with the banner is by far the best option. Not only does he buff your whole 6-inch battle line to give you a fight 5 battle line, he also is just excellent fun because, as Sam says, you can never really do a wrong play with him because he's got strike, defense, he's got 6 might, he's fight 7, so he almost never loses a fight. Because you can just spend all your might to always win. He can heroic combat for days. Even if you do somehow get him into a terrible place, oh no, I've got 3 might left. Okay, let me just heroic defense for the next 3 turns or the next 2 turns until I can escape with him. He's just fantastic. 3 fate, 3 will. Again, he suffers a little bit to magic, but again, what?
But even if he is getting shut down by casters, then he's still at your line buffing them.
Exactly. If he's getting shut down
Right.
by casters, who cares? Because then you're being a 6-inch banner. Okay, say you roll a 5 to resist. Oh no, I have to spend one of my 6 might to boost it to a 6 to resist.
Kind of one thing to piggyback off of that.
Please.
When you said about him being shut down by magic, I just thought about how the Emperor, because obviously I use the Emperor a lot at the moment, has resistance to magic. I never usually find it being like a huge deal if he is shut down by magic. So the fact that I have resistance to magic just doesn't really matter. I don't know.
The difference there is we were discussing about the Emperor and Saladin in the chat, and the same with Boromir. The Emperor isn't realistically a threat to combat, whereas Boromir, with the knockdown, with the 4 attacks on the charge, he's got the combat potential to go 20 inches. So you can never leave him unattended. You can't leave, like, say we're playing against a Saladin, for example. You can't leave Saladin exposed because Boromir goes in and murders him, or Witch King or Arcadish. You need to protect everything, so you need to shut him down. It's just the fun you can have with him. There's never, he can't whiff because he's got too much might. So at least for the first 2 or 3 turns, you are having a great time.
Just ask a question. So as a very seasoned Minas Tirith player, so at most points levels where you'd run Boromir with the horse and the banner and everything, if he is getting shut down by magic, is that usually a big deal? Or as in, like, because obviously we said that he still buffs the line and everything, but like, do you need him to usually be doing a fair amount of work to, win, games?
Yeah. So how I would run it is I would have Boromir. I think 6. I took him to Tom's, shout out to Atomic Cards Tom, Contest of Champions event in Swindon last year, which was 6-3-1, and I had Boromir, Hurin, and Madril, and that was probably the lower limit of where you can have him for me, because I think you want Madril and Hurin and Boromir, so that really works at 650, 700. If he's shut down, it is a bit of an issue because he needs to be going in, combating, killing 4 at least for 2 turns. The biggest difficulty with him is getting his horse black darted. So he charges in first turn, his horse black darts, you can't do anything. Then he's knocked off his horse, can't strike. And because you've paid the 215 points, for him, you need him to be doing the work. And yeah, it can be rough, but again, spend all your will, resist the first spell, go in, have fun, kill stuff.
Yeah.
And finally, he's got the Horn of Gondor, which allows him to blow for a courage test. So you play Goblin Town, you don't even usually have to roll, which is even more fun. He takes a courage test. Okay, you insta win. Great. Now I'm going to kill stuff.
They insta die.
Insta die. It's brilliant.
It's a very like, unless you're playing against magic, it's a very low risk, high reward model.
Oh, 1,000%. If you're playing anything but magic, he is having a wonderful time.
Yeah, it's so just there's no bad thing about it. I mean, yeah, you're paying a pretty penny for him, being 215 points, but
fight 7.
There's just nothing like you're not playing against magic. Oh, okay, nice. This is
Yeah.
there's
Nothing
no,
outfights him.
There's no risk.
He's just fantastic.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So moving on, Vince, your number 3 pick.
Yeah, so number 3, I've got Thranduil. Yeah, he's one of the only heroes in the game where who you don't care if he's kind of surrounded, trapped, and on foot. He's actually better on foot, which I think is pretty interesting about him. Not only is he mincing troops, he's also giving out the tasty +1 to wound buff to the troops, the elves, and he's got his 2 spells with the crown. I just think overall he's really useful. A lot of little tricks you can play with him. People, they do get scared of the one use wrath getting knocked down and then just charging in with the elves, just killing stuff for fun. So yeah, I think Thranduil is a very, very cool hero.
A very different sort of profile with all the additions, like the sword and the circlet, and like, what do you take? Do you take a bow? Do you take the elk? Do you take the circlet? Like, lots of different options on how you can.
What is his base points value, Vince?
He's 100, isn't he?
100.
100, yeah. 100 with nothing, yeah.
Fight 6, 3s across the board, 2 attacks. So it's like you kind of auto take the sword because it's
I think you always take the swords because for 30 points you get up to fight 7 +1 attack
with 3 attacks.
And so he's actually 4 attacks on foot.
Yeah.
And then +1 for every model above 1 he's in contact with. So against 2 models he's got 5 attacks. So he's very reliable going into 2 guys, and then you don't really want to trap him. Like, usually you want to trap a hero to try and gank them, but against Thranduil, you can't really do that because the more you do that, the more likely he is to win the fight and to kill more guys. So he's actually on foot. He's very, very scary.
So if you give him only the sword for 130 points on foot, he's a fight 7 hero with 5 attacks if he charges into 2 models.
Yeah,
30 points.
But without the armor, I mean, you always take the armor. Or why wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
The armor for 10 points.
140.
I did, try the elk for a little bit because the model is so cool, and him being an elk is cool, but it just didn't work.
Such a cool model. It's just a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame because for 20 points, I think that the elk itself is a bit overpriced. For 20 points, the base is massive.
If it was a horse base.
Yeah, the horse is all right, but
it'd be better.
It is 2 wounds D5, but yeah, 20 points is steep. How much is Dane's boar?
20.
20, but that's that any different?
It's 20 points as well, but it's D6, 2 wounds.
D6, 2 wounds, but it's slower though. It moves 8, right?
8 moves. Yeah.
That's fair. So maybe 20 points is around.
But it's different though, because giving Thranduil a mount actually makes him a bit worse.
No, I guess
so actually, I reckon the elk should be a lot cheaper.
And also, it's a bigger base size as well than.
Yeah, I reckon the mount should be free because no one's really taking the mounts. Like, you might take the horse.
Incentivize people to buy the Forge World model.
Yeah, no, I've got that model and I tried using it, but it's just 20 points.
You give them
I think if you're getting shot off of your mount, and then the sort of like a sigh of relief is probably a sign that it's not the best thing to take.
Yeah. I'm taking the elk and then instantly dismounting, and I'm just like,
throw
everyone off. Taking it.
Yeah.
Give him a horse in case he needs a horse to get him where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And then dismount him.
Dismount him.
Yeah, it's 10 points.
I think that's
10 points. Yeah. And then the circlet as well. We haven't even spoken about that, but the whole charging, knocking everything down. You've got the +1 to wound bubble. Damage.
Big psychological threat that with those knockdowns, you can just unleash it like anytime. People have to kind of think about that. And and then the terror bubble, which is always useful. Just like a not mini Kierdan, but he's Kierdan wrapped into his profile as well.
Yeah.
Also, lowest shoot value in the whole game, right? At 2+.
Really is.
Yeah. Do you take the bow for 5 points?
If you've got 5 points spare, sure.
Yeah.
2 up shoot value.
I guess the only thing, I know the elk makes it strength 5 on the charge, right?
Yeah, there is that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. We missed that. Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits. And then I guess, although he gets 5 attacks if he charges into 2,
Two in the profile.
if he charges into 2 with a cav, he gets 4 attacks and then knocks him down to effectively getting 8 strikes. So there are.
But then if he gets trapped the following turn, you're in big trouble because you don't get the extra attacks being mounted, and then more models can fit around you. And then he's only D6, so he does go down if he's losing a fight trapped. Whereas on foot, you don't care as much because you've got so many attacks, you're more likely to win the fight.
At fight 7 with the Elven Blade.
If they're trapping you 3 guys, you've got 6 attacks. I mean, you're not losing that fight.
His one weakness, as we just stated with Bozza and Sam's Carnage King, is magic. You sap his will, all his buff go. You compel him, and he dies. Because isn't his ability? Is it active or passive?
What?
Which one?
The sword rule.
Okay, so
it's passive, so that doesn't matter. But you can't use them to strike. So I guess.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I think there are lots of heroes though which fall into the bracket of if you face magic at high points or wherever, like
it's as if magic is like really good.
So it's hard to judge like heroes on but if they face this then they're neutralized.
Yeah,
but I mean the argument's there to be made, obviously.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he's like OP or the best hero in the game, but I just think he's a really cool profile. There's a lot of like different things he can do. And a lot of ways to use him.
Yeah, very versatile. If James were here, he would be singing his praises. No doubt.
And he's really different from the other elf heroes in his own right. That's really cool.
Unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. Okay, Sam, you're up next with your number 3 pick.
Yeah. So another cool profile I think. I mean, complete opposite way of thinking.
Oh no, here it comes.
My main dubious man.
Oh no,
Mr. Alfredo.
Oh,
hey.
Alfredo.
Good old Alfred. I mean,
why? What did he do to deserve such good rules?
What's not to love about Alfred?
Me.
Am I right?
How can he be one of your favorite heroes? Come on.
What is this? Alfred.
Let me.
I can totally. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Hear me out. So the reason that he's in my top 5 is because again, what he does for the army and how he merges in. So if I come up in a game and I'm playing contested champions, I can go, oh yeah, Bard have 2 extra might. There you go. It gives me an instant advantage. I'm playing Recon. Oh, Captain, you need to march 4 times, 5 times. Have 3 extra might. You can now march 5 times.
Sam, that's just fucking boring, isn't it?
Deary me. And then what does he do after that? He sits there and hides at the back. Oh, he's stand fast.
No, but it's fun.
Oh no!
It's being able to put might where you need to and kind of manipulate how much might needs to go where to counter X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Like if you need to call a move, if you need to do moves, giving it to Bard's kids is a thing I like to do a lot of the time.
You should never say that sentence.
Yeah.
Never say that.
I love giving the mic to Bard's kids.
Maybe.
But then obviously he's 20 points. Yeah, he's really, really good. But I mean, there is that element of it can
20
backfire.
points.
There is that backfire element of okay, I've just rolled double 1 plus. I've just rolled triple 1 on Bard, for example. So now Bard's on no might. You always have to think as if you're going to roll a 1. Like if you roll a 1, you're trying to give a might to a kid, but then you need to be able to have Alfred in a position where that might point is still useful for that heroic move next turn. So it's not exactly like you can just plop him anywhere behind your lines and that's it, because you do need to have him in a semi-good place just in case you need to move with him in case you roll a 1.
My only counterpoint to that would be is that as he's behind your lines, it is usually going to be fairly easy to put him in a position where I'm not taking away from the point, but like usually you should be able to, a player like you is, going to have him in.
Oh yeah. It's like if I misposition, say if I put Alfred, I don't think I'm gonna. I have to forget about. I tried to give a kid next turn upon a might, but I've left Alfred 2 inches behind where the daughters are, and if I heroic move Alfred, it's only going to hit one portion of my line, or like some like spear sport. So I've not positioned him properly because I just assume that I'm going to get might with the kid who hits everyone, and then it backfires. It's like, oh, that was kind of pointless. So
it's a bit of a Rubik's cube of having the kids and Alfred.
Yeah, it's not.
Adam's not here. all positioned in a
Yeah, although it's like they're just behind your lines, like you still have to have them in semi-good places in case stuff does go wrong. And like if you roll 1-1 on your leader, for example, like you want to give Bard 3 might and you roll 1-1, that is so bad. You're instantly just at such a disadvantage. It's unbelievable.
Especially you basically play 20 points for
20 might.
20. Yeah. That's how much he plays with. So
basically,
and I like the fact that he can actually hinder you in some scenarios, being fog of war, being assassination. He is only 1 fate, 1 wound, defense 3. So if someone wants to go and fucking kill Alfred, not exactly the hardest hero to kill, realistically. So
the price you pay and the price you deserve to pay for taking a 20
yeah.
Oh yeah. It can literally
no, in fog of war and assassination.
Yeah. So it's like in certain scenarios that he can hinder you in that sense.
Yeah.
I can see why, because he's like a chess piece. You have to use him to your advantage. He's got lots of benefits.
He's just really versatile again.
He's fun, and I will always remember the game we played where it was assassination and I chose Alfred as my target. Alfred tries to give 2 might to Bard, rolls double 1, which now makes Alfred have 2 might. I then Black Dart and Flame Burst Alfred's. I get 1 off and he rolls a 2 on his fate. Oh, look, he's got 2 might now. So he then passes the fate. I then can't get to Alfred for the rest of the game. And I think you won because of that, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah, I did.
Brilliant.
So that level of 4D chess that Sam was playing on me was horrific.
I mean, he lucked into gaining 2 might on Alfred by rolling double 1.
Because at the start he was angry. He was like, "Oh God, no, I needed might." And then when he worked out that Alfred was my target, he was like, yeah.
I think you did something to the captain. My captain, I was like, oh, okay, it's probably gonna be the captain. So I was like, I'll give might to Bard, just because he needs it. And then I was like, oh my god, this is horrendous. So, but I'd killed Cardiff. She was my target, so it was kind of like, oh,
yeah.
As soon as you didn't kill Alfred, it was like, oh, great.
You were super happy.
He's really, really good. Definitely not denying that. He's so good for 20 points. He's basically an auto include.
In the films, he's also like the scummiest, worst character.
Why
is he so good?
He's my main man, Alfredo.
But you actually have a model of him dressed as a woman.
Yeah,
that's when you know.
That's a funny model. Yeah.
Being able to just give might wherever you want, for the game mode you need for the scenario, it's just really good, and he's such a Chad.
If we were going back to our top 5 best costed models, Alfred has got to be
another appearance.
Yeah, but no, I can see it, Sam. It's a fun choice, and the fact that he's not just instantly OP because there is the chance of rolling a 1 does make it quite fun.
And if you're playing an army of Lake Town, he has no might, so Maelstrom can be a big problem. He does have his downfalls, but usually the army around him is good enough that those downfalls don't really make a difference. Yeah,
especially an army of Lake Town. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, my number 3 pick, a staple in my early GBHL career, is Azog the Defiler.
The Defiler.
The Defiler.
So, Azog, such a chunky profile. Everyone's probably very familiar, but I used Azog a lot in my sort of first year in the GBHL, using the Pitts Legendary Legion. So it's more of like, not an honorable mention, but like a Hall of Fame pick for me. Like, I don't think he's that competitive. Like, obviously he's a really good profile on its own, but when you put him in the army and everything, I don't think he's the most competitive compared to like the meta and everything. But the profile obviously fight 7, strength 5, D7 if you don't take me in the Legendary Legion, or D5 if you do. If you take me in Azog's Legion, he has Master of Battle, just the auto Master of Battle, or in pits, he has the free heroic combat every turn. He's got the 3+ wounding all heroes in the game. What else does he have? I've got his profile here. He's got March, obviously the White Warg, insane profile. The 6 might altogether. They share the might and the fate and everything. He's got March. The Stone Flail I've never really used, but I've heard a lot about its potential and stuff. It has some use case and everything. I don't think it's ever really worth paying the points for it in a competitive setting, but it's a very cool sort of themey sort of weapon choice. But it is the way that you unlock Burly. So if you do want to make him more like troop killy, he's then strength 5 Burly. So if you want to pay the points for that, I really love the profile. I love the model. The only thing I wish he was a bit more sort of because he's 225 points in Azog's Legion, and you're D7 there, but at high points, if you face magic, obviously I said that we shouldn't be judging heroes based on that, but if you pay 225 points for a model and he does nothing and you need him to be killing for him to be effective, like compared to Boromir, he can still buff the army, but if Azog sits there and does nothing, you lose the game because you have a fight 3 army and they just die. So that's kind of a shame. So I wish he kind of maybe not have resistance to magic in Azog's Legion, but obviously you've got the resources to spend to like, pass resist rolls and stuff, but like late game and things, he can kind of just do nothing at times. I found it in my experience at high points, but that's my number 3 pick.
Nice.
Yeah, the fell sight on him makes it really, really hard to play against, because you just never know where he's going to go, and he can just charge with that line of sight. He's got the 6 might to do heroic combats for fun. Yeah, he's scary because if you make one little mistake, that's just like
just munches something.
Big hero gone, or
yeah, it's really fun.
Shall we start a debate that we've had previously, which is Azog's trade for Master of Battle for free heroic combat worth it, or is it a hindrance?
I prefer the free heroic combat.
I also prefer the free heroic combat.
Sam?
Combat.
Yeah, I think the Legion.
Oh, look at that, we agree.
There we go. I think you take Azog's Legion. I think if you want to take like the monsters, that's the part that the list has, which the Legendary Legion doesn't. But at a competitive sort of level, the monsters typically aren't that good. So the bats are seen like allied in and stuff, but like, it's just you gain a lot more through taking the Legendary Legion than you do from taking a couple bats, probably, because he gets the auto priority. Adam killed my Shadow Lord at the finale using the auto priority because I really fucked up my positioning. But you can win games.
Theme.
Yeah, you can kill models very. You can win games with the auto priority, and then you've got 6 might with a free heroic combat. So it's like Elendil on steroids. It's pretty crazy. Potential. It seems like we agree on the heroic combat v Master of Battle.
There you go. Was it James that disagreed with us? Probably. He likes doing that.
He used him at Tom's event.
Mm.
Was that an 80 or was that the 90 this year?
80.
Was that last year?
80 last year when Sam had a great time with Mercury Rangers.
Yeah.
So does anyone think Azog he allies well with other armies? Like, can we think of other armies?
So I did actually podium a doubles event with Azog's Legion and Moria.
No way! I was going to say,
Interesting.
Craig, shout out to Craig from the Having Wargaming Club. Takes him with the Balrog and
of course he does.
He takes what was it, Sam? Balrog, Azog, Dweller in the Dark, a Bat Swarm,
some sort of monster mash.
There's a cave troll as well.
Shout out Craig.
Absolute gamer right there.
Yeah.
I've seen Azog allied with Goblin Town before.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yes.
I don't know of the list
how good that is though. Yeah, I don't know how good that is though.
Azog, 35 goblins.
Literally, that was it. Azog and then goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he loses the Master Battle, but yeah,
a free hero combat every turn is
No, he wouldn't get the free hero combat.
Sorry, in the right.
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's interesting because he would add obviously a lot of killing power, but you sacrifice a lot of models. So I don't know if the trade-off is worth it. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, there are allies. I would have definitely experimented more if there were like other allies that he was yellow with, but there just aren't too many, and they've done that for a reason. All of the Azog stuff. So Azog's Hunters, Legion, and Dol Guldur is all green, so you can kind of think of it as one big army list, really, essentially. But then outside of that, there aren't many yellow allies that make sense. So there isn't too much creativity you can really do with it. Which is a shame, but he is really, really good, and there's probably a reason why they've kept him quite limited in that way. So, but yeah, I love the model. I don't use him as much anymore, but he'll always have a place in my heart at number 3. So, Ash, number 2 pick.
So, at number 2, a personal favorite of mine for extreme fun is the Dark Lord Sauron. And the reason that he is my number 2 favorite model of all time, top 5 favorite model, is because he is just so much fun. He's got the best spell in the game, which is an 18-inch Chill Soul, with his 6 will, 1 for free every turn. So you can just.
Does he cast it on a 4+ as well?
I have got the profile up here. It is indeed on a 4+. So he's got an 18-inch Chill Soul, an 18-inch Transfix on a 2+, an 18-inch Compel on a 3+.
Yeah, his spells are insane. Yeah,
his spells are fantastic. He is able to just terrorize people with magic from afar. Okay, he's 400 points, so you're only taking him at extreme points levels. But he does get the special rule where in Barad-dûr, the army doesn't actually break unless you wound Sauron. And at D10, that's not an easy thing to necessarily do. Because people try to just, destroy the rest of the army. But if you want to actually get the break VPs, you need to do something to Sauron, which isn't necessarily easy.
No.
Is he worth 400 points? Definitely not. Is he absolutely great fun to use? Yes. And that is why he is at my number 4. If you actually...
Number 2.
Sorry, number 2. Are we talking about? I was just looking at his stats.
400.
He's got 400 points. He's also got 4 attacks. So with a banner, he's got 5 dice to win the duel. So he does consistently win the duels.
Is he fight 9?
He is fight 9. So he should probably be fight 10. Would it make much of a difference?
Why is the Balrog fight 10 when they are... No, they're servants of Morgoth?
Yeah.
Sauron. Okay,
yeah.
So I guess that's why.
Well, he should be fight 10, and then that would make him... Because
he should be fight 10.
If a Gorbag strikes to 10, oh, look, Gorbag's outfighting
the
Dark Lord. Like, if he was fight 10, he still would be worth 400 points, but he would be better.
Yeah, nothing should be outfighting Sauron, I don't think.
But one of my best and most favorite things to do ever is at Imps, I had Sauron with an Orc Taskmaster, who is able to whip Sauron when he calls a heroic move. So on a 4+, he gets this might for free. And I was able to play a game against, I'm forgetting his name now because it was a while ago, but in my game, Sauron managed to use 7 might throughout the course of the game, and the guy was just unable to stop him.
Imagine an orc whipping Sauron.
Sauron having 7 might. Sauron then walking through this guy's army over many, many turns. And I just had an absolute blast. So there you go. Sauron, number 2.
I feel like he should have Monstrous Charge as well. Like,
sometimes
1,000%. Sometimes he's just charging into like 2 guys and bouncing off, and then you just feel like, well,
yeah, what's going on?
I have had this critique where people say, have you not just whiffed with him and had a bad time? I actually haven't yet. So when that comes, maybe he would drop out at number 2 for my favorite. But currently,
I played Tim Elvis's Witch King on Fellbeast and Sauron list, and his Witch King was killing stuff way more reliably than Sauron.
Yeah,
which is quite funny.
He needs Monstrous Charge. He needs to be fight 10.
100 points is no joke.
I'd rather see him have Monstrous Charge and not have fight 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because what does he spend his might on that point? You just then it gives you an option to, do I strike just so then a roll off, or do I just save it for the ring? But then that just completely ruined it. You just always save your might for the ring at that point because there's no need.
I think it'd be fun to see him a bit more competitive. So then he's using his might to win fights if he does fluff and kill more. So
monstrous charge is definitely necessary. Fight 10 is just because he's Dark Lord Sauron.
Then if you don't increase the points cost, then suddenly he's like, yeah, I just like to see him a bit more, I guess.
Maybe instead of spending a spell, he could use a will point to become fight 10 for the turn or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to be fight 10, yeah.
How many will?
He has 1 for free for the ring, and he has 6.
And 6, okay.
At courage 7 with ancient evil and resistant to magic. So
yeah, the 18-inch chill soul is nasty though.
The 18-inch chill soul is absolutely just. It's so much fun to.
It is a bit upsetting that the Necromancer doesn't have 18-inch spells. That's sad.
Because he's a shit version of Sauron, mate.
Yeah, Sauron is here.
You're paying 250 points. It's no joke.
Yeah, you're paying 150 points more.
I know, but you get a lot more other
150
stuff.
points for only 6 inches. Not worth it.
Yeah, I like the pick. Okay, so moving on, Vince, your number 2 pick.
Yep, another really fun model, the Goblin King.
Hey.
So yeah, he has got a lot of fun rules. He can run through goblins, he can throw goblins, and he's just overall like a very, very strong monster hero. I really like the Space Marine save. I think that's really funny, and I like the fact that he does have weaknesses, like his courage 3, and the fact that he doesn't get the blubber save against elves, which I think is actually really fun. So I don't think he's OP or anything, but he is very strong. He's got the burly pick, so he can munch stuff pretty reliably. And yeah, he's a very, very, very cool hero, I think.
Yeah, him being
against the Goblin King recently, didn't you?
Yeah, it's he's just really strong. He's just solid, isn't he? For 130 points, he's what he's fight 6.
Yeah, fight 6. Yeah,
so you're piercing up to strength 6, essentially strength 8 with 2-handed or with burly. The blubber save is just really strong. You need an elven blade or you need magic, because obviously that doesn't work against magic either.
And he's resistant to magic too.
Yeah,
which is handy.
So he's got his. You can never really stop him from getting in combat, because who gives a shit if you run over 5-6 goblins? Literally, it's not that big of a deal. Like
and this is the threat of it. Like your opponent doesn't know what you're going to do with him.
Yeah,
and the fact he can swap with Grinner, I think it's really funny. So yeah, he's got a lot of plays, and overall really, really strong.
And he's got like an insane throwing weapon as well.
Yeah.
Really?
The strength 8 and automatically knocks you prone, but he hits on the 5 up, 6 up if he moves.
Might that shit.
If it's a fell beast, you might that shit. If it's Suladan, you probably still might that shit.
And the banner for a turn.
He also fell beast because it's funny, and then it's a case of like just being able to go. Yeah, I'm just gonna mow through 9 goblins now. All right. 14 goblins have just spawned on behind you, so like those 9 goblins don't matter.
It's a strength 8 hit as well.
Yeah,
and he's got the whole thing where he can like move over his own models and get into combat.
Yeah.
So you think X model is safe, but they're not.
So he can do this really cool thing in like say contest where he can literally just step on his own goblin to prevent them getting a kill and charge into combat simultaneously.
Yeah.
So the stuff like that.
Clever.
Yeah, which is really fun.
Really good. Good pick.
Do you know who he pairs well with, Vince?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know you're going to say.
It's the sponsor of the channel. Today we're thanking the saviour himself.
Yeah, I realise now what I was saying, like, advocating against Gollum. It's just blasphemy. We are the Gollum's game.
Well,
Tom's trophy really swung the debate.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, it's a good pick at number 2 for Vince. Sam, what do you have?
I have got the big boy, The Watcher in the water.
Oh,
Number 2.
Water.
That's out of left field. Okay.
This is so I can't believe it.
Okay. I can't.
There is no.
That is fun.
There's no model in the game that plays like the Watcher, and that is just sick. The fact, like, he completely changes the dynamic of how you have to play, and it's just I like models that do that. Like, if someone thinks they're so cool taking for Elliot taking an Azog
or Sauron
or Saladin,
yeah, so you go, sorry mate, you suck them in, and they're instant dead. That is so satisfying. I mean, it's if you play against it properly, I mean, he doesn't really gain his points back in the slightest, and he's not the best. Or if you have an army that doesn't focus on big heroes, he's also not the best. But you have to play. If you make a mistake with him, you lose the game because he will just. He's only D6. I mean, he's got 6 wounds, but if he gets trapped, he's dead. So as soon as you have to position him correctly, and you have to know when to bring him on, because I mean,
if he comes on,
yeah. So I've tried to use the Watcher, and when I have used him, I think the earliest he's come on the board is like turn 3 or something shit. I think the majority of the games I've used him, I've rolled first. So first turn, I'm gonna try bring him on. It's then been 5 consecutive turns, and he then arrives on the 5th turn. And by that point, I'm broken. All my goblins are dead, and he does nothing because it's just how it is. So I've not had the best luck with him coming on the board on a 3+, which is real sad. And even then, with me having dog shit luck, he's still my number 2, just because of how he plays. And there's, like I said, there's nothing in the game that if you don't play against this model and you then come against it in a tournament and you're completely clueless, it's just so funny to watch.
I have never played against the Watcher, so
like
if I face it, come look at my table.
If I played Elliot, just going, oh my god, how, like, watching someone else's brain go through overdrive to figure out how to not get railed is so fun, and I like that a lot.
Especially me, it'd be quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you come up against like a King Elisar or an Azog or something, you are licking your chops.
Even then, just pulling in warriors that are in combat with the goblins if they're not bringing their heroes in. So your goblins are not dying, and you're also still killing warriors. Like, he's just a fun model.
Genuinely, Sam. Just talk about. I know it's that you playing against the Watcher. Talk about the play you did against Jordan with Thorin, because when I was playing Clubly this weekend, I told him, and Clubly, I thought it was super clever, and Clubly was like, "That is so smart." So I think you should share that with everyone, just to show how much of a mega mind you are.
I just thought it was.
You gas him up too much.
I think it's, again. So that's because I've used the Watcher.
Yeah.
And because you try and get the Watcher, you make a big enough gap for a cavalry base. You put a bat there. You put Groblog, a Prowler, and then they instantly die essentially. But so I was playing against Jordan at the Worcester event. Yeah, from Any Heroics. And
Elliot's changed his tune on shouting out other people.
One episode. We got plenty more. We got plenty more episodes to slag him off. That's fine.
Yeah, I just had my Lake Town battle line, and I thought I need my Lake Towns to not get pulled into the Watcher so that I can actually kill the goblins. So I chucked Thorin in, but I actually dismounted. So he had moved, and then I had charged in after he had moved when he'd made this cavalry-sized gap. So I actually charged in and dismounted. So even if he pulled him in, it was only the Watcher versus Thorin, which is then fight 6 versus fight 6. I've got an Elven Blade. I'm wounding him on 5s. Yeah. So he then has to spend another turn on top of that to try and kill Thorin as well. So he still went for it. And I won the fight. So he then had to spend next turn again, called a move to charge Thorin. Decided not to put anyone else in, because it's a case of if you pull someone else in, then fights get peeled off. So those 2 turns of me not having warriors pulled in was I think, really crucial for my battle line to destroy his.
And it's exactly what you're talking about, as in playing a completely. You and Jordan there were playing a completely different game to everyone else at the event.
Yeah.
And that play to think, okay, I now don't need to be a cavalry base because he specifically set up this cavalry base play. It's just that's the sort of thing you like, and it just.
When you think about it in hindsight, or as someone who wasn't in that situation, it's like, oh, it seems like a really obvious thing, but like as it's quite a small thing.
Oh yeah, in the moment.
Think about it in the moment.
Very, very few people would have done that.
Yeah.
It's just I like plays that it just makes you think differently, and that's what I enjoy about the game most. I think just those when people think on their feet against stuff that they haven't played before, or it's not common to play, and if they can think fast enough to avoid their big tricks, they'll win, and they deserve to win at that point because. Do you know what I mean? They've gone through the hard effort of figuring it all out from the board, the scenario, everything. So
will the GBHL have to bend to the will of your Watcher of the Water anytime soon, Sam?
I would love to take the Watcher, but we're
very high initially.
We've already petitioned for one of Sam's picks. Give the Carnish King a banner, an actual banner. The Watcher in the Water needs to be able to spend his 1 might point on his coming on roll. Petition #J #change the rules.
I mean, it is a 3+, so the majority of the time, like I've just been really unlucky when it's not come on the board, but just being able to spend that 1 might point just to come on.
It happens more than you think, though, doesn't it?
It does. It totally does. Yeah. It just be if you could spend might on it, I would totally take the Watcher because it's just such a fun model. But I've had real bad experiences just because it never comes on the board and never arrives, and then all my goblins die. So yeah.
Okay, the Watcher number 2 for Sam. So moving on to my second pick, I have selected the Keeper of the Dungeons. I love.
He's so shit.
I love.
It's dog shit.
It's not a top 5 most OP model, is it? Obviously.
Favorite model. Why is he your favorite? Come on.
I love the Keeper of the Dungeons. Every time I've used the Keeper of the Dungeons, I have a really fun time.
Because you've got a cursed name.
A fun
Keeper
time.
of the Dungeons.
Yeah. Yes, he's 2 wounds, no fate. And yes,
he can when he dies.
He can instantly die. So I have lost him turn 1 against Lee versus Urukai. Went in with a spear support, rolled a 2 high, bannered 2/2. So I can't spend might to win the fight, and he rolls 2 5s at strength 4, and I keep it instantly dies turn 1. 3 might.
That's fun.
So that can instantly happen, and that's not very fun. But outside of that, I have killed Dane, with only the Keeper. That was at Norwich, actually. So he's fight 5, strength 5. Burley, he has a 200 pick, so he can pierce to strength 6. Yes, he only has 2 attacks, which kind of sucks. But if you trap something at strength 6, he can strike. He's got the 3 might, and then he's got the fun rules as well with the ramping up with the models that he kills. So if he kills 1 model, he re-rolls 1s to wound. After 3, he causes terror, and after he's killed 5, he re-rolls all fail to wound model. Re-rolls all fail to wound rolls, and then he's also got the +1 to wound against Galadriel as well, and other elven ring bearers. So against Galadriel, for example, he will actually auto wound Galadriel, which is quite a cool little corner case thing. But I like his role is to be a troop muncher, and he can do that really effectively as long as you don't fluff and you keep the banner nearby. He can really chomp through troops, and if you do want to go for an all-in kind of big play on a hero, if you win the strike off, he can do a shit ton of damage, and I find that really fun. And he's only 75 points, and I think that's quite a lot of,
bang for your buck.
Yeah, so, the only downside to him is that he's squishy, but you can go through games and he doesn't die, and then you get a lot of return out of him, and I think that's really fun.
I'm going to say now, I think that might be the worst pick yet.
It's personal experience. You chose Alfred.
Yeah, that's better reason for that.
You chose Alfred.
I understand that.
Leave little Elliot alone. He's picking his favourite.
It's a good pick.
Come on,
I know.
Come on.
It's just funny.
Worst
I know.
pick. Leave it out.
I know the fact. He can put a lot of damage out. I will agree that. But
Sam, you were taking the Mickey out of me for having a Boromir low risk, high reward. Elliot's gone high risk, high reward model. And
you
got to
yeah.
put some
High
respect
risk,
on
low
that.
75
Right?
points.
I much prefer the high risk, high reward. But I mean, is it really high reward? Like, is it a high reward?
It can
Exactly.
be. You can
But,
one-shot a leader with the
How
keeper.
often does
What
that
is?
happen, though?
Can you tell me a bit more about what the keeper has?
I kind of did just go through it. So if that didn't wow you, then
That's what I mean. It was so
Yeah.
uninteresting.
Surely there's more than that.
Surely
was
there's got to be
everything.
more. Or was it
So
what? 2 attack, strength 5.
Yeah, he can pierce to strength 6. He's 5'5". He has strike. He's 3 might. He's got 3 will, which is quite sneaky as well. He can resist if someone does try to track him down.
Sneaky.
He can just die to shooting. He can then
He can.
just die to normal warriors. He can then.
So he doesn't have like mighty blow or anything. Or...
No.
He's
No.
just literally just a
He's
strength
strength 6
5.
burly, and he's got the whole. So like, let's say you get him.
He's
up
got
5
burly.
kills. Yeah, so he's strength 6 burly.
Okay.
If he pierce, and if you get him up to the 5 kills, he's re-rolling 1s, and he's re-rolling all other wound rolls. So he's re-rolling everything.
So strength 6. So he's effectively strength
But
8.
if you kill
right?
1, then he's re-rolling 1s as well. So
Oh.
lots of troops on 4s, re-rolling 1s. So
It's the 2 attacks, though, isn't it?
it's
That's
only
not
2
bad.
attacks, so it's like a Goroth, but he's only 75 points. He's not like 90 or, so I've had some really good fun with him in games, and I've killed some pretty big stuff with him if you set it up right and you win a strike off. If you lose a strike off, he dies, but it's fun when you win and he kills lots
I
of
just
troops.
feel like Azog is the guy that you send into heroes. So why does he need to go?
The
and
fact that you have
guide us?
more fun, or the keeper is more of your favorite than Azog.
Because I thought Azog was just a very Azog is good, and we know Azog is good. So you can have fun with Azog, yeah, but you're always going to have fun with Azog. It's more rewarding when the keeper, you have a good game with the keeper, because it's like he's 2 wounds, no fade, managed to live the whole game.
You don't expect so much. You don't expect as much from him.
And that's what you said there, Ashley, about, or was it Sam, about that Azog is the one who's going to do all the damage. You might not think too much about the keeper.
Yeah,
He's a sneaky behind.
And, he does have a pretty
man.
good sort of damage output profile. And if you get him into a hero, someone's like, "Oh, the keeper's there. Oh, he's
that's fair enough.
early. I'm dead." Yeah, so
We enjoyed that one, Elliot.
I've had
We
good
did.
fun.
Good
My
pick.
picks have just been rinsed, and
Good pick, mate.
it's a personal opinion
Yeah.
sort of thing.
No, good pick. Keep it up.
I like it. I like it.
We like it. Well done.
Moving on, Ashley, your number 1 spot.
Can we all guess?
Please,
Okay.
everyone, drum roll. Starts with witch and ends in king.
Oh my god!
Who'd have thought?
Oh my god!
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
We've been having a theme in Ashley Walger's top 5, and that is
Your
3
your
of them.
list.
My list plus Sauron and Boromir. 3 of them were magic casters. 2 of them had 6-inch banners. What does that say? You can infer. So the Witch King is my number 1 favorite model because he has absolutely everything. He has magic, best casting in the game with the Crown of Morgul, which is very nicely costed at 25 points.
It's totally undercosted. FYI.
He's the best caster probably in the game with the amount of will you can give him. He is incredibly good in combat when you need him to be. 4 attacks on the charge, knocking down at strength 4. You give an armored horse, you give him a fell beast. He can then be an even more, combat hero. When you give him a fell beast to do damage. I tend to not give him a fell beast because I don't think it's the best value for points.
Could you see a world talking about that? So obviously the Witch King's usually your leader. Could you see a world where you give the Witch King a lead, a fell beast in your list, and you make Suladan the leader, and have him sit at the line?
No. I have seen this, and Adam has floated this in our chat quite a few times. Saladin is so easy to wound, and he's such a good cannon. He's a bit of a glass cannon, but he's a good cannon to go in, kill 2. The trouble is, you spend 50 points for a fell beast to get the same attacks that you would get anyway. Because if you take the crown, you get 3 attacks anyway, so you get 3 attacks with the fell beast. You got to strength 6, which is good, but it's not 50 points. And then you get fly, which is probably one of the best special rules in the game, and monstrous charge. but at the end of the day, you're still a fight 5 model that is not winning all the fights when you charge. And for 50 points, you can get, I know, for 60 points, you can get Kardish in there as well, sort of thing. So I don't think it is the best choice for a Fell Beast. Me personally, it'd be good to have Adam with us right now because he quite likes using a Fell Beast, so we could sort of take his side. Do any of you three enjoy a Fell Beast? Have you taken a Fell Beast?
I think it's also the brutal attack powers as well.
That's true. Yeah, fair point.
As well, obviously the 12-inch move you mentioned about fly, objective grabbing late game.
You got to win the fights at fight 5 to be able to do your brute power attacks. That's the trouble.
Yeah, and obviously once you put him into those positions to do those things, then he's susceptible to being tagged off. And a couple turns of losing move offs, and he's sat there not casting and not doing any damage output. Now suddenly you've got a huge point sink in something that's not really doing anything.
I just think I agree that Fell Beast, you just make your points. They're just better else.
Spent somewhere else.
Yeah. Like last time I played Adam with a Fell Beast was at Contest Champions. He charged 1 Bjorning. He lost a fight. I then insta-killed the Witch King.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's better as a support.
He's better as a support hero until late game when you need him to charge and get objectives and do this.
He's too undercosted, the Witch King. That's the problem.
See, I don't think this is the case. So you give him a crown, you give him a
crown
horse.
of Morgul is undercosted. That's what it
but
is.
He's
Definitely
the thing is,
undercosted. Definitely.
The thing is, he is an expensive hero. If you give him 3 might, 14 will, and
not
3
for what he
fate,
does.
He's 145 points, which is top tier.
That is not expensive.
Considering Thranduil
not expensive.
20 points for an elk, you can pay 25 and give the Witch King.
Yeah.
I think
give me a piece of war gear that gives you 3 attacks and allows you to reroll casting and resisting for 25 points.
1000%. It's a great piece of war gear.
Busted.
I just think it works. I just think it works with him in the
confines
of the Mordor.
Because it's really fucking good.
It is really good. It is really good.
We're not debating that it works.
No.
It's the most versatile caster in the game, and even if the Crown of Morgul was double the points, even if you paid 50 points for the crown, you would still take the crown in the majority of cases.
50 points is so expensive.
Would you still take the crown, guaranteed?
No, not necessarily.
I think you would. It just makes the whole Mordor sort of Sully thing, for example, in your list. It just makes it less effective, and it to a certain extent because
it actually gives you
points.
It would trigger me massively.
I'll put it this way. Wait, go on. Sorry.
It's an auto take.
It would still be very good.
It's an auto take.
It's the difference of 5 will. So it's not necessarily an auto take. If you want to use the Witch King as a caster,
it's an auto take.
You would save those points
even
elsewhere.
if you use it as a caster.
I'm pretty sure the guy who won Arnicon last year.
No. Yeah, so I knew
didn't take it.
He did take it. He just forgot to write it on his fucking thing.
So he did take it.
He did have the crown, yeah.
So he cheated. Nice wits.
No, so it was still in the cost. It just wasn't written.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll put it this way: if you could pick between Saruman and the Witch King, I pick the Witch King every day for the points. If I could choose between the two in an Isengard list, I would take the Witch King.
If you made the Witch King 180 points worth, which is what? How much will is that?
So at 145, he's 314.3. So you can get another 5. 8. So you can give him 19 will for
the 19 will for the cost of Saruman, and arguably he's better than Saruman at casting.
Yeah. That's still less as well.
And in combat as well, if
you give him 20 will, he's only 175 points.
He's got the Harbinger, he's got Strike, 3 attacks.
Yeah. He's only got 1 wound. So he does die.
D8 with 3 fate, mate.
Yeah. How many times we would need
3 fate?
We would need James with us right now. James with us right now. Lucky shots, take him out. If you just do a wound to him, you can fail the fate and he's see you later.
Yeah, but doing that consistently is
doesn't happen often.
Not common.
He is a go hard, go fast type of hero, and then late game, unless you take Kardish like somebody clever, He burns and fades like Icarus. Gets,
That-
you know.
Even
There
one
is a
rogue-
reason why you see him in pretty much like every like mortal list, and he's the first. If you're gonna take a Wraith, you always take the Witch King. Like he's as
He's
far
the best Wraith, 1000%.
Even if the crown was 40 points, you'd still take it. It just needs to be a case of there needs to be a scenario where there is an argument for not taking the crown, but currently there is no argument for not taking the crown, ever.
You always take it.
So why should you
Always.
take? If you always take the children with Bard, it's like the same
You
diff,
don't. That's 30 points for kids, which are 2 models,
which
and
make you fight sick
30
and give you a
points for
free.
kids.
That's
30 points for kids.
yeah. That's taking up your warband space. That's also take the kids compared to the Crown of Morgul is completely different, and the
No,
Crown
but
of Morgul is probably better.
it's very similar what you just said. Like
The crown
it's
is
an
not.
auto take.
It's not, because if you take even
Have you
at
ever
low
taken
points-
Bard without the kids?
if I was paying survivors at say 450, I would argue not taking the kids. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
At 450, you might not take the crown.
No, you would still take the crown, but you take like
you wouldn't take the Witch King at 450.
you could literally
You
take
probably
you
might
could
not.
take a 3 might, 11 will, 2 fate Witch King with the crown and be comfortable.
Taking the crown is great. No,
Yeah.
no,
No points
no
there when
shadow
you
of a
don't take
doubt.
the crown. It's better to take the crown and just 1 dice every spell, even with 10 will, than not taking the crown and giving him 15.
Yeah, but eventually, if he gets in combat, he spends will on combats. He does just die, and as your
Yeah, but-
leader, it's takes a bit of
Manipulating.
thought to use him properly and then not get him killed and not. He's not like a
it's not-
super instant OP model.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
not, I'm not saying that, but that doesn't mean
It's just
because it's not-
undercosted.
Just
He's
because it's not an auto play model, it doesn't play itself. Doesn't mean that the crown isn't undercosted.
I think the crown is good. Is well pointed as it is. It's the same as 5 will. You know.
It's way better than 5 will. Bear in mind, it gives you 3 attacks, re-rolling, resist.
Yeah,
and
It would be
But-
good without the 3 attacks.
It would be good without the 3 attacks.
Yeah, to
Taking
be
3
fair, I
attacks
think
is also
25
pretty fun.
points.
You're arguing the most unarguable cause I've ever seen in MESBG ever.
Let's do a poll, Elliot. Do a poll in our 10 comments we're going to get. Who
Have to do
thinks
one.
who thinks the
It's
crown
spicy
is?
topic.
If it was
Next
40
spicy
points,
topic.
you would still take it.
I think you take it even for 25 points, like Vince was saying, without the 3 attacks. For
Of
the
course
you do.
roll
Yeah.
and the resist. Yeah, so the fact is also
But
3
I think as he is the Witch King, he should have,
He as the
he
Witch
should
King,
have
he
3
should-
attacks.
I mean,
as
you
the
don't
Witch
really.
King, he should have a rule where he like just auto dies to Eowyn.
Yeah, you say
Like-
like he can have 3 attacks, but I don't think you actually see him really in any combat scene in any of the films.
Yeah.
he
It's,
kills Theoden.
apart from when he dies.
That's a difficult thing to do.
The
it's-
Cell
it's
Beast
not.
kills him, really.
That's true.
Yeah.
The crown is undercosted, and that is just fact. Sorry.
I think the crown is well pointed. It works very
You're
nicely
saying
in my
that
list.
Before we let a full-on civil war
I
break
like it a lot.
amongst the podcast,
It's really
we are-
OP. I like the
we-
crown.
We are going to
Crown good.
I like the pick, Ash Witch King. Very
Thank you.
predictable. Very predictable.
You
though.
didn't even let me talk about my favorite moment with the Witch King.
Oh,
What are
go
we
on
gonna
then.
do?
Go on then.
No, go on.
No. There's
No,
too
please.
many good moments.
You said
Carry
you had
on.
a favorite. Do you have a favorite?
When I black
There's
dart
so many.
Sam's Bard and he cries. That's my
Oh,
favorite moment.
he It always happens on the regular.
No, black darting horses. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
You love it.
It's good fun. Okay, so next up, Vince, if you want to let us know your number 1 pick.
So my number 1 pick, he is the guy that your girlfriend tells you not to worry about. And that is Gorulf Ironskin.
Oh,
Nice.
This guy, like profile aside, he's one of my favorite models in the entire
He is a
range.
sick
His
model.
sculpt is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I looked at his profile and I just thought I have to get him for Isengard. Just the image of him just fighting alongside Uruk-hai. He's just a beast. For 70
Giga
points.
Chad.
Yeah, he's a Giga Chad. 70 points. The 3 attacks, the fight 5, strength 5, 3 heroic defense against heroes. He's just so fun to use. Yeah.
It's a really fun profile. Yeah, with the rule, just kind of like trying to position him where he can be the most annoying is, yeah.
There's not like loads of tricks with him. It's just a lot of bang for your buck. Like a lot of bang for the buck.
Yeah. He's just cool. You can
Give
use
me
the
more
might early
bang.
on, and then he just put him into hero. He's just done his job. He's just done his job. No matter what happens, he'll just go down. He'll go down fighting like a champ.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's also so ripped.
Yeah,
Chad.
Exactly. Very.
Why are you taking
observation.
notes of the model?
Also so ripped.
Also,
he's got
so ripped.
See his abs as well. He's got massive pecs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vince said he's the guy you tell your girl not to worry about. He's
Exactly.
ripped.
Yeah.
I was merely commenting on that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well played off, Ash.
No problemo.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
it. Okay, so Sam, your number one pick, please. Drum roll.
Yes. So, quite possibly the sharpest, most brittle knife in the shed, Mr. Gulliver.
Filth.
This Gulliver again is if you make a mistake with him, he's totally dead and you totally basically lose the game. However, if you play it properly and you are not stupid, does he fucking kill everything? He, in conjunction with magic. So if you don't take him with magic, I mean, you're going to with an Angmar. He isn't the best, but with the Witch King, with Barrow Whites, he becomes really good. Again, like the Watcher, you have to play in a certain way against him. It makes makes your opponent think. And again, I like those kind of models. So Gulliver is one of those where if you misposition a hero, one model gets compelled, that's protecting him. Gulliver swoops in, instant dead. That's just great fun. Punishing people for their mistakes. And I love it. So yeah, him being fight 7, strength 8, 4 attacks base, 5 on the charge. Anything he charges is most likely dead. Yeah. I mean, it is dead. Obviously he does have his weaknesses. Like for example, magic and sentinels are quite big. Although he does have resistant. If someone throws a cheeky 1 dice compel or something and they roll it, 5 or 6, if you are not positioned correctly so that the base can't land anywhere properly, that's actually too beneficial for them. Or you just completely whiff, like having it compelled and then shot, because shooting is another big thing for Gulliver that he does not like. So it's like I said, it's a high risk, very high reward model, and I like that. I like that a lot. So
when you combine it with the Witch King,
pardon?
When you combine it with the Witch King,
combining with Witch King, yeah, combining it with Barrow Whites. He's not as I haven't seen Angmar being played too often recently, to be fair, but he's just so much fun. So much fun.
It's a pretty
I like that he's he's fragile if you kind of use him recklessly, but obviously deals a lot of damage. So you have to be careful with how you use him.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's got the wounds equal into his attacks, it's quite a fun interaction there.
And
the regen wounds allows him to just keep going. Oh, you've done 2 wounds, never mind. He flies away, charges a guy, murders him. Or a nice thing you can do with him is charge a cavalry model, eat the horse, and then eat the guy, and then you've got your 2 wounds back. He is good fun. I can see why Sam likes him. He's great fun, and that's really it.
It's a good pick. Okay, it's a good number 1. So I have the final number 1 of the evening.
If it's the Dragon Emperor, oh my goodness.
The Dragon Emperor, no, I'm joking. So my number 1 pick, a little bit of a maybe unusual one. I'm going for Elrond. So
rock meme.
So my reason
I would never have guessed that. Okay.
Elrond.
My reason
Elrond
is
Agent Smith.
When I look at the Elrond profile, looking at like the 3 Elven Lords, I see
He's the worst.
I see a really good profile. Apart from that, at high points, he can just be shut down, and then he might not really contribute much. But when you look at the profile, obviously he's fight 6. He's got strike, defense. He's got the reroll fate rolls. So for a leader, it's what you want with reads across the board. So he's sturdy in that regard. That's why I think if he had something to resist him against magic, he would be really strong when combined with the reroll.
Take Lindir, hint, hint. Take Lindir.
He's got the magic as well. He's got the magic. So if you're not playing against magic and you might not want to save his will because he's courage 7, then you have the magic shenanigans with Wrath of Bruin. He's also the Rivendell Knights. If you aren't playing him in a Riv Knights list, but you're taking a number of Riv Knights, you can fit in more bows because the Riv Knights don't contribute to the bow limit. And we haven't even mentioned the foresight points yet. Easily a game-winning, over a 6-game event, if you roll well on that through the majority of your games, that can come in really, really, clutch. The amount of times you draw on a priority last turn and you won it last time, so it goes to them and you can bump it up by 1. Things like that. It's so clutch. So I see overall a profile that if you give it some sort of magic resistance, I think it really stacks up really, really well against like Glorfindel and Gil-galad.
If you take Lindir, he gets magic resistant, doesn't he?
Does he get it when you take Lindir? I didn't know.
Yeah. That
but
was...
then you have to take Lindir.
And Lindir actually synergizes really well with Elrond.
I've seen people usually take Lindir and Riv Knights.
Lindir, Elrond, Riv Knights. And then you get the resistance to magic, and you get a free will point every turn to either resist or cast with.
I just don't see people really running him in regular Rivendell with Lindir, as in not Riv Knights.
That's true.
The way you can run it is taking. You have to go full out with Elrond. You take Arwen, Lindir,
yes,
and Elrond,
and then you get the double Wrath of Bruin for about 3 turns with Arwen and Elrond, and then Elrond also gets to do it every single turn because of Lindir.
Mm-hmm.
And if it goes badly, the opponent's models are never stood up. They're just constantly on the floor.
I think that's what in the infamous game of Kylie versus Jay, she was using.
Jay totally took it.
That list. Yeah. So I look at the profile and I see a really well-rounded profile for a leader. It has a bit of everything. And I think it's a very interesting profile to use in that way.
Have you used Elrond?
Yes.
You have.
I let James borrow my Elrond the other week.
Yeah, you totally did, but I've never seen you use him, that's all.
At some events kind of early when I started in the GBHL, I used him a fair bit. It's why I haven't used him that much lately, just because he can be shut down and then invested a hell of a lot of points. I think he's the most expensive as well once you put him on horse.
I like that he is able to take the Riv Knight list, which is exclusively only because of him. I think that's quite a cool feature.
Yeah. I wish he could be used a bit more in regular Rivendell. Like Glorfindel is just such a good pick. But I think if you give him some kind of magic resistance, like yes, Glorfindel's fight 7, but fight 6 is still really good, and then you get a lot of other kit as well. If you give Elrond resistance to magic, I think it suddenly probably swings the other way. So, obviously lots of models will be really good if you give them this or that. But I look at the profile, I think it's very, very well rounded, and it's a profile that I like a lot.
Nice.
And I think unless you're taking Riv Knights, I don't really see a reason to pick him over like the other big elf heroes. That's just my opinion. I think, as you mentioned, Glorf is just way better, and he's cheaper, isn't he? Than Elrond.
He's like a whole 50 points.
He's way cheaper and arguably he's better than Elrond.
170 compared to 190. I think if you give Elrond something else to justify the 20-point increase.
Yeah, he'd need something else. Yeah.
The other things that's already in the profile are really, really good.
Yeah, sure.
So
he's almost good, but he's just not quite
there.
Again, you just take Lindir, and he gets exactly what you said.
But you wouldn't
spending way more points. Like
Yeah, he's already more expensive than
Yeah.
the others, and then you're buying
Mm.
it on a horse or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like I get it in Riv Knights, but just if he had one other thing in regular Rivendell, I think he's a
I
really
can see what you
nice
mean.
profile overall.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely sculpt. He's a cool character, but
Foresight is an excellent interaction.
in the game,
which helps Riv Knights massively.
Yeah.
Um,
And like
yeah.
as a leader,
you could just roll a 1 for that. So
yeah, and as a
That's
leader,
true, but you should, on
defense
average,
rolls.
roll a 3.
yeah, well, that's how averages work. You should roll a 3.
James coming in here with his statistic knowledge.
Indeed. But that is my number 1 pick, Elrond. So do we want to quickly recap everyone's top 5? Should we just run through everyone's top 5? Ash, who are your
I
top
want to
5?
say, I don't think anyone had a single crossover top 5.
Didn't.
And
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
we totally didn't plan this either. This was all
No
random
wonder
right now.
So 20 unique picks.
20 unique picks. That just demonstrates the incredible nature of this game, eh?
Indeed. Ash,
So
your top 5.
top 5 was Kardash, Suladan, Boromir, Sauron, Witch King.
Love that. It sounds like one of your lists, basically, doesn't it? Oh, Boromir.
yeah.
Vince?
Mine was King's Champ, Aemir, Thranduil, the Goblin King, and Gorulf Ironskin.
Love it. Sam?
5 Cardish King, 4 good old Musgur, 3 Alfred, 2 the Watcher in the Water, and 1 is Gulliver.
Golly, nice. And mine, number 5 was Grimbold. Number 4 was the Necromancer. Azog was in at 3. The Keeper of the Dungeons at number 2, and Elrond at number 1.
I think your list was wild.
Your list was pretty out there, Elliot.
Twisting and turning. Twisting and turning.
In the tier lists of the lists.
Tier list of the list.
You can't tier list the list because it's a
tier list his opinions.
Tier list of the list.
Tier list his opinions right now.
You had Alfred. There's really no coming back from that.
Yeah, he's okay.
The Watcher and Gully were good picks, but
Watcher and Gully is fun.
Is just.
Is there any honourable mentions for anyone?
I would love to have an honourable mention. And that is for having the best piece of war gear in the whole game. Our number 1 sponsor, which is Smeagol, in the Fellowship. And that is because his piece of war gear, Smeagol has strong, strangling fingers. So it's never considered unarmed. Full stop. Ever. Exclamation mark.
That right there is war gear.
That right there is war gear. And just for 30 points, you get a fight 4, strength 4, 2 attack, Smeagol. And why you would not want to take that in your Fellowship list, I have no idea.
That's a nervous pick.
Thanks, mate.
Like it. Vince, any honourable mentions at all?
No, we'll leave it at that. I couldn't think of any other ones I wanted to include.
Sam.
I really wanted to put the Spider Queen in.
Another filth.
She again is so versatile, regardless of what you play.
If we can think of a theme for Sam, it is scummy monsters that oppress people.
What, Cardish King? What are you talking about, mate?
You literally said as part of your explanation that you love watching people shrink as they try to figure out how to play.
Yeah, that's a fun part.
Spider Queen's a good choice.
Watching people's brains figure out what to do is just fun. So Spider Queen is again one of those models where you play like you're instantly in a lot of scenarios. You're just loving life. Retrieval, like the broodlings are so powerful. Recon, they're so powerful. And again, she has her weaknesses. She is another scalpel, D4, no fate. If you mess up with her, she can just totally die. She's fight 6, but again, she's only 2 attacks base, 3 with monstrous charge. She does have venom, so she does kill anything she touches as well.
Broodlings.
Yeah, but like again, magic really affects her because then if you want to spit broodlings, you're using your will points, then you can't resist. Sentinels, she's courage 3 or 4. I think she's courage 4. So again, you can totally fail. She has her weaknesses, but if you use her correctly, she's just really good.
When have you used the Spider Queen?
I've used them for Fell Beings.
Did you take Fell Beings? Am I not?
Yeah, I've taken Fell Beings.
Okay.
Like 3
I
and
don't
1.
think he's bugging.
No, I was just trying to think like it was probably Fell Beings, but I can't think of an event that you use Fell Beings. So
All
It's
of
one
your
of-
picks, Sam, have been high risk, high reward models.
That's how I like to play the game.
Yeah.
I like that high skill ceiling kind of model where like if I mess up, I've lost the game, because that's just
Yeah.
I like that kind of it's like accountability, but like it's really, you learn fast because
Yeah.
you don't want it happening again.
high risk, high reward. Sounds like the keeper of the dungeons.
Yeah, it was also
The pick was slated. Carry on.
I was going to have Saruman on horse as well, similar to how Ash said Witch King, just because of the bullying potential with magic. Magic is hella fun, and transfixing
we do
people.
not condone bullying over
No, we
here
totally don't. Just
on
in
the Gollum's Gamer
MESBG.
podcast.
Just in MESBG.
Only sometimes.
But like having a reliable Sorcerer's Blast on a 4, really, really fun. The compels and transfix on 18 inches, really, really fun. He just. I've kind of chosen the White Council one just because I haven't used the Isengard one, but he didn't slot into my top 5 again. I think just because of his allies. I mean, he's a bit of a. Although, like the models I've chosen, you can kind of you normally just go green allies with them, but he's very much more of a. You go yellow, which means you're losing stuff to taking him. So that's why he didn't go into my top 5, but he's really fun.
Yeah.
Sam having to get in 2 honourable mentions.
Getting another one, brother.
Another one.
Always has to push the
another one
somehow. Yeah.
Well, I'm getting another one then.
So I did have one honourable mention, which is going to be Arrestor. I really like Arrestor.
Oh, Arrestor.
Because there's nothing more satisfying than when you need to get through a gap with a throwing weapon, and then you don't get the wound roll, and then you get to re-roll it and you get the kill. And now you're into X thing with like
Why are you
a
doing
striking hero.
ASMR soothing midnight voice?
Yeah, so I just think the re-rolling on the throwing weapon is quite unique. I don't think there's anything else in the game that has that. I like that. I think that's a really fun roll.
I mean, what's his name? Dale Wine has it, isn't he?
Elfhelm.
No, Elfhelm.
There you go. Boom.
There you go. So yeah, and just it's a solid profile, like the fight 6 with strike and the 2s across the board, which is a bit strange, but I like the model. I think it's a nice model with the glove.
D7 too.
Yeah, D7 and the reroll. Obviously, it's only 2 attacks, but like rerolling all failed wounds and also rerolling with the throwing weapon, I just think is a nice little addition. And when it happens, it's like an epic moment, and I think that's really fun.
I totally wanted to put Delgamar in this list as well, but again, too many.
3 extra picks from Sam.
We could have done a top 10 and been here for 5 hours.
Yeah, Ellie,
but...
you've reminded me of a possible honorable mention.
Oh,
for
here
me.
we go.
Yeah.
Vince didn't have one.
Yeah. Rumil.
Ooh.
I like that.
I think he's a
That's a nice pick.
very unique elf hero
with
where he can force a reroll in the duel. So he's potentially very sticky.
With
very
defense too.
doable. Yeah, hero defense. And very good for his points. Just an all-round very annoying elf hero, just a roadblock. Doesn't matter how good your hero is, you can just force you to reroll that 6 and then you lose the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very cool.
Can I ask Vince, are you still painting some more Goblin Town?
Yes, I'm still painting my Goblin Town.
How many have you
All of
managed to crack out since the last podcast?
So I'm doing them all in one batch, so I haven't finished any, but they will get done.
Are you doing them all like one step?
How big is the batch?
So 55 goblins.
Wow.
And then eight mercs.
When you get them all done, you have to turn your laptop or phone round and give everyone a little view.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, you mean
Absolutely.
now? Or later?
No, when you're done.
Oh,
when you're finished.
Yeah, when I finish them. Yeah.
When you
Absolutely.
finish them.
100%. So any closing comments from anyone?
Solid lists, I think.
I think we all, yeah.
Lists?
I think you by the list you can very quickly tell the play styles of each.
Yes. And you can tell which lists we play and our biases. It's been interesting. It's been good.
Yeah,
fun.
the armies that we have, right, and what we've used and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so it's been a
Are
good
you
one.
going to tease? Are you going to tease the next least 5 favorite hero episode?
That may potentially be coming up next.
Who knows? Who
Dedicated
knows?
listeners that are here, I know that Denby will be watching.
No one's made it. How far are we in? Two
I think
hours?
we're roughly 2 hours in. So
Yeah.
it's a good place to close. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for watching. That has been episode 6 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.